A Friday briefing with the Chief Minister, and nothing on your schedule as such today. Is life so good?
No, life is extremely busy at the moment, and of course we've got Tynwald coming up very shortly, which will be a very major Tynwald this year, with the budget, of course, headlining it. That will be a very challenging debate, I think, this time.
Well, I mean, you talked about that last time. I mean, obviously you can't give anything away, but you're kind of building this up. I know what you do now, and I think people get it. You put out a few little markers to kind of soften people up for some bad news. Would that be fair to say? Or am I pushing things too far?
Well, I think you're probably pushing things too far at the moment. It won't be a good news budget, I don't think. But I think it will be a steady as you go. It will be an indication that government is on target with its spending and its cuts. And we will have to see then the detail that Mr. Tier releases next week.
Do you sit with him on that? I mean, you know, is it one of those things you both get together, or will he come to you with his sort of vision and then you start?
Well, I think the vision is already there. You know, the Council of Ministers has already decided what its priorities are. As the year progresses, building up to the budget, of course, internally within the Council of Ministers, we have discussions on where attention should be paid to further expenditure. The Treasury, though, is then left largely to put the framework of the budget together. The Treasury does the negotiating with the individual departments. They agree spending plans. And of course, this year, Treasury for the first time has agreed a 3-year budget with all departments. That will be a big help and a big step forward. And then ultimately, the Council of Ministers and myself see what the final recommendations are, and we top and tail it, and then it's presented to the public.
Of course, it's all about spending the taxpayers' money at the end of the day, isn't it? And the news this morning with the unemployment going up quite, I mean, 150 odd people up. That's people not generating income and costing the government. Is this in your plan? I mean, are you where you think you would have been, or is this now getting outside your control?
No, I think it's probably where we expect it to be. We have been at this level before, and January, we must remember, is always a month when unemployment figures rise, particularly where the local domestic economy is concerned. The main drivers for the increase this year are retailing and construction. One or two other local areas such as hospitality, but retail and construction are the main ones. Retail, of course, always sees a blip in January. Shopkeepers take on extra staff over the Christmas holiday period and then release them into January. So that's not a surprise. The construction industry is something I've been warning about for many years, in fact, that it's been struggling. There's a lack of investment coming into the industry, particularly from the private sector. Government is doing its best to maintain the capital programme to keep a steady flow of government finance schemes coming out. But even there, we are having to cut back now. That the level of business that government generates will be reducing. So it's more important than ever now we find ways to stimulate economic activity and confidence back in the industry again for the private sector to start investing.
How's the high worth individuals? You start that plan and trying to fast track them to build their lovely mansions and that sort of thing, which is, you know, to get the construction industry also going. And I know there's been some big houses built actually in recent time. Is that still a valuable means?
It's slowed down a bit, it's fair to say. There have been a number of applications and approved, I have to say, by the Planning Committee in recognition of the contribution they make to the overall economy. I think with some of the problems facing the United Kingdom at the moment, that there has been a slowdown in the number of inquiries to the island by potential high net worth individuals. Although I think only just recently there was a planning approval for a house for a 15–20 million pound house, probably the biggest house that the Isle of Man has ever seen. So there is some interest, but perhaps not at the same level that there was. It's very much, I think, for government now to try and find a way to reactivate interest in that, because undoubtedly this is a really important way to stimulate new economic activity, and particularly in the construction industry.
Well, we'll continue talking with the Chief Minister in our next section.